yes, we come to a reality where, you know, it has never been easier to start brands. There are a lot of brands in the world, but equally, investors are, I think, very aware of their own skill sets, their own expectations, and I think the good ones want to partner with brands that are truly aligned on that side.
I don't think it's ever been more difficult.
Yeah.
And you can sort of coin the whole concept of that with, you know, the omni-channel journey. It was only 2010. So it was only 2010 where brands were starting to think, okay, my messaging in store has got to overlay with my messaging on mobile platforms, because that's when that really became a big thing. And it's also got to overlay with laptop and, you know, generally online. So it's still a really, really new thing. It then moved on to brands really starting to put their customer at the very center of their journey, still maintaining a strong messaging and a consistent messaging, because of course that was important, and that didn't happen in the early days either. That seamless journey starts very much internally within brand, and we need to stop working in our own individual silos. So truly put the customer at the center, decide what it is your message is, make sure that it's consistent across platforms.
So the British Beauty Council commissioned a report called the Value of Beauty Report. I don't know if many of you have read it. And it actually looked at the industry in entirety, from distribution to retail to every part of the high street. And it valued our industry at £27.3 billion in terms of GDP contribution, of which I think £7.3 billion of that went to the Treasury for taxes. And it also showed that we employed 600,000 people, predominantly women, and with a real kind of entrepreneurial background. So we're outpacing, we're growing at 10%, we're also growing units, and in some of those European countries, they're either just about breaking even or in decline. And actually, the biggest difference was the growth in bricks and mortar and in retail. And actually both of those combined working together, and actually a lot of those other European counterparts, a smaller proportion of their business is online. So for us in the UK it was about 45%, for some countries it's like 15%.
I think we're just at the start, and I think we're just getting to the point where we're getting more informed, we're beginning to measure better, we're beginning to plant how influence marketing and influencer assets can then serve businesses better without the guesswork and with some ROI and some real strategy.
I think because the education is obviously very, very different, and understanding of, you know, what's out there. So from a skincare perspective, you know, it's a lot of, you know, the how, the why, the science behind why it works. The access to information is very, very different. And I think the customer's knowledge is far, far superior to what it was when we first got feeling it.
I mean, I think we're, again, probably at the start of a relatively big inflection point in terms of how people think about investment, how founders evaluate it, how funders evaluate it. And I think the single kind of North Star that I see pop up quite a lot, which is alignment of vision, right? I guess this is a long journey for investors, it's a long journey for founders. And ultimately, if you start off with a misalignment at the beginning, then it's very, very hard to rectify that going forward. Yes, the creator economy has fueled an ability for individuals and passionate people to launch brands, to launch products, probably now easier than ever, right? And it's only the beginning, you know, with the advent of AI and a lot of things that are coming down the track there. It gets quicker, it gets faster, and people can get products to market as quickly as any time in history, with a massive caveat that ultimately the fundamentals still remain.
I think that business is pretty resilient, and I think having gone through Brexit, I was chatting to some people out there, you know, Brexit, COVID, wars, all these things, actually business is pretty resilient, and they just need to know what's happening. It's the ambiguity, I think, that kills business.